Hey guys, come on downstairs. We are coming off our most successful season ever in Southern Utah Thunderbirds Dynasty, and we are going to do the Year 4 off-season and see if we can improve. This episode is going to include the Year 4 bowl results, the season awards. We'll go to the off-season then with players leaving, recruiting, and the class rankings, and we will close this episode off with unveiling our Year 5 schedule. So we will work to that point here on Southern Utah Thunderbirds Dynasty. Let's start with the Year 4 bowl results. And we will start in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Houston over Central Michigan, the Poinsettia Bowl, San Diego State over Vanderbilt, and of course in the Beef O'Brady's Bowl we lost to SMU, drubbed 49-28. In the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, the Lobos of New Mexico win it on their home field against Arkansas State. The New Orleans Bowl, Middle Tennessee over Western Kentucky, so chalk a win up for Conference USA. The Las Vegas Bowl, Utah over Fresno State. Out in Hawaii, Marshall, 21-17 over Nevada, another win for a Conference USA team. So far we are 2-1 as a conference. The Holiday Bowl, Stanford over Oklahoma State. Georgia Tech over UCF in the Belk Bowl. The Independence Bowl, Arkansas 27, Boston College 24. The Russell Athletic Bowl, Pittsburgh Falls to Temple. The Meineke Car Care Bowl, Northwestern over West Virginia, and Boise State drubs Florida Atlantic in the Armed Forces Bowl. So as a conference now, we are 2-2 in our bowl games. The Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl, Arizona falls to Memphis. The Alamo Bowl, Kansas over Oregon. Look at the year by Kansas, 9-4. Great year for them. Michigan over TCU in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. In the Music City Bowl, Georgia 52-38 over Virginia Tech. In the Sun Bowl, Virginia over UCLA in El Paso. The Liberty Bowl, Tennessee drubs UTEP 31-3. So now we're 2-3 as a conference. As UTEP will move on to the Big 12, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Chick-fil-A Bowl, North Carolina over Bama. Heart of Dallas Bowl, Northern Illinois over Illinois. Big win for that program. Auburn over Michigan State in the Gator Bowl. And now we get to some of the bigger bowls. LSU over Nebraska in the Capital One Bowl. The Outback Bowl, Mississippi State over Wisconsin. And the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl, USC 28, Clemson 24. The Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, Notre Dame over Oklahoma. The Sugar Bowl, Penn State over Florida. And the Discover Orange Bowl, Kansas State beats Missouri. They finish 11-1 on the season. The Cotton Bowl, Texas over Ole Miss. The BBVA Compass Bowl, Eastern Michigan over BYU, and Toledo over Louisiana in the GoDaddy.com Bowl. And now let's take a look at the national championship. The BCS national title game pitted Ohio State and Florida State. And the Buckeyes with a 28-21 win to finish off a perfect 14-0 season. Let's look at some of the Year 4 awards. And we'll look at All-Americans as well as the All-Conference team in Conference USA. The Maxwell Award goes to Kelly Bryant, the quarterback from the Clemson Tigers. The Walter Camp Award goes to Kevin Justice, a running back at University of Houston. The Bednarik Award goes to Cameron Watkins, a corner from Illinois. The Nagurski Award goes to Julian Aquara. Eric Horn was a semifinalist from Southern Utah. Kelly Bryant wins the O'Brien Award for the nation's top quarterback, the Davey O'Brien Award. Kevin Justice wins the Doak Walker Award for the best running back in the country. The Bolitnikoff Award goes to Deion Stewart, a receiver for the Arkansas Razorbacks. The Mackey Award, the nation's best tight end, goes to Matt Snyder from Nebraska. You'd imagine Nebraska would be a good tight end school. Zach Gala wins the Outland Trophy Award, the center from the Clemson Tigers. Will he also win the Remington Award? Yes, he does. The nation's best center goes to Zach Gala. The Lombardi Award goes to Julian Okwara. Eric Horn, also a semifinalist for that award. Nation's best defensive lineman. Best linebacker award goes to Josiah Tauefa from UTSA, a Conference USA foe. And Cameron Watkins wins the Thorpe Award from Illinois. The Groza Award goes to Vince Samuel from University of Utah. And the Ray Guy Award goes to Drew Chrisman from Ohio State, the national champions. Best returner goes to Keith Gavin from Florida State, the national runner-up in the national championship game. And the Heisman Trophy goes to Houston running back Kevin Justice, the senior from Kilgore, Texas. He had 283 rushing attempts for 1,829 yards and 22 rushing touchdowns. 152.4 yards per game was his average. Let's look at the All-Americans. We'll just look at our players that landed. On the first team, Eric Horn, the defensive end, led the country in sacks. And the second team All-American kick returner is Marquez Trigg. And let's look at the first team All-Conference USA. Eric Horn and Max Vino-Petit on the first team. Paul Phillips was the first team kicker, and Marquez Trigg the first team kick returner. Second team, Andrew Eide, our defensive tackle, made the All-Conference USA second team. So now let's take a look at the players leaving our program as we get into the off-season of SUU Dynasty. Marquez Trigg graduates. Sione Fuoka, Josh Smith. There's going to be a lot of familiar names here. We're losing a lot of contributors. Rodane DeLuce is gone. Mitch Dalen is gone. Max Vino-Petit is gone. Martavius Redmond is gone. We've seen his career from freshman. All of these guys, really. Dali, Taeo Tawanuu, Lehigh Afatasi, Toa Taufa, Gary Williams, starting center Tony Sirocco. Linebacking core got really depleted. Stephen Welsh, Ahananu, and Josh Correa all graduated. Naya Ursua, he's been around the program for all 4 seasons. Clark, backup left tackle. Afatasi, fullback, is gone. Andrew Eide, our defensive tackle. So those are the players leaving the program. Let's go to the recruiting trail and take a look at the recruits we have signed going into year number 5. First off, Chance Alexander from Arden Arcade, California. A 6'1", 272-pound center, and he was a 2-star prospect, also recruited by Utah State. Al Jones, also a center, 6'5", 283 pounds from Westlake Stevens, Washington. Spencer Hayden, 2-star middle linebacker from Upland, California, also recruited by San Jose State, Texas Tech, Arkansas State, and ULM. 2-star prospect from Valverde, Utah, Scott Anderson. He is a run-blocking tackle, also recruited by Utah State, Wyoming, and Utah, as well as New Mexico. Carlos Palmer, 3-star middle linebacker from Loveland, Colorado. Got looks from the Buffs and Texas Tech and Arky State. Marvin Taylor, 3 stars, outside linebacker from Sunset, Utah. So this recruiting class, heavy on the defensive side of the football. Wayne Sowell, a 3-star athlete from Fort Bliss, Texas. 6 foot, 227 pounds, and we are going to play him at safety. Matt Douglas, defensive end, 3 stars from Fairview Shores, Florida. 6'4", 253 pounds. He's a defensive end. Like I said, we're going heavy on the defensive side of the ball. An offensive player, though, Allie Hicks from Thomasville, Alabama, a 3-star wide receiver. Cedric Washington, a defensive end, 3 stars out of Phoenix, Arizona. So I think we got some really good future players on the defensive side of the football. Another wide receiver, though, Andy Manning, 3 stars from Arvada, Colorado. 6'2", 191 pounds. Brian Brown, a free safety, 3 stars from Coral Springs, Florida. Also recruited by CSU, Georgia Tech, North Texas. Rob Marshall, run-stopping middle linebacker, 3 stars from Piney Green, North Carolina. 5'11", 215 pounds. Glenn Griffith from Rancho Cucamonga, California, 2 stars. Outside linebacker, number 127. So, And the final one, I believe, is Adam Clemens, a 3-star outside linebacker from Scottsdale, Arizona. So a lot of linebackers, a few defensive backs, and a few defensive linemen. Let's see how the recruiting class rankings in Conference USA turned out. Number 1, Florida International. The number in parentheses is the national ranking. They are 48. Number 2, Southern Miss, overall 62 in the nation. Number 3, Middle Tennessee, they're 64th in the country. Old Dominion, 74th in the country. Number 5, Weber State, the 76th best recruiting class in the country. And they've put together a couple of solid recruiting classes in a row. Let's see if that gets them out of the cellar of the conference. Number 6, Rice at 78th in the nation. Number 7, Louisiana Tech at 81. Number 8, Florida Atlantic at 89. And number 9 is Southern Utah. And we had the 91st best recruiting class in the country. We've got to step up our recruiting game. Number 10, Marshall at 109 in the country. And number 11, Texas Tech, 112th in the nation. And number 11 in the Conference USA. UTSA, number 119, is at number 12. North Texas at number 124 in the country. And the very last team is New Mexico State, dead last in Conference USA, second to last in the country at number 125. So a couple interesting notes. Obviously, Texas Tech is kind of surprising to be the 11th ranked Conference USA recruiting class. We'll see if that translates to Texas Tech being stuck in Conference USA for a while. Weber State was a surprise at number 5. Like I said, it's their second quality recruiting class in a row. They've been awful since we started this dynasty, so let's see if they start to climb out of the basement. Surprised that Florida Atlantic was all the way down at number 8 as well. Let's look at our Year 5 schedule. We start off at home against Portland State, a FCS opponent. Then we hit the road for Seattle, take on the Washington Huskies, and then another Huskies all the way across the country to Storrs, Connecticut, take on UConn, and then we're back home against rival UNLV. And then we start conference play. 5th game of the season at home against the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs, and then on the road against Old Dominion and Weber State, back home against the New Mexico State Aggies, and then we head off to Lubbock, Texas for our first conference matchup with the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They are in our division, so that could be a big matchup at that point of the season. The 10th game will be North Texas at home, 11th game at UTSA on the road, and for the second year in a row, we'll close out the season against the Rice Owls. This time it will be in Cedar City at home. So that is our Year 4 off-season. Up next, we're going to do a Will Stills top 126 and see where we are expected to finish in year number 5, as well as who the front runner is for the national championship, as well as the conference standing predictions here on Southern Utah Thunderbirds Dynasty. It's Mama's Basement Sports Gaming.